This is Mr. Larry Man, and today I will be casting a replay sent in by the one and only Horus. This is something new I'm going to be trying out. I'm going to be casting a bunch of just one-off games of Rise or maybe some other loader to just kind of pad out the main channel's content. I'm going to aim for weekly uploads of just singular casted games to kind of grow the channel as well as give you guys something to watch in the meantime. And hopefully I will be able to get something out every week, but these things do take kind of a while to do, so whether or not that will actually happen, it remains to be seen. Regardless though, let's actually hop into this replay. It should be the first one out on the channel. And yeah, let's start the game. So this is just a standard pub game of Rise, relatively short by the way, only 33 minutes. Most games last around 40-ish, 45. And on Arthadane, we have Lazy Turtle. On Cardalin, we have Beast. We have G-Unifier on Elves, and we have Gondor on, well, Gondor. So the good team has a mix of veterans and relatively newer players as well. I believe Gondor is a Korean player. Now, Exodus is coming in on Amar, by the way. So Exodus is coming in on Western Rudar in a double with Horus on Misty Mountains. It looks like Lazy Turtle is going to be trying and defending this push, but with two factions bearing down on him and stun going down on those cannons, it's going to be relatively difficult. Now, G-Unifier is going to respond in time to chase away Horus, and it looks like Evil will be chased away with only one cannon down on Western Rudar, and a medic going down for Exodus. It looks like that shields blocked the medic's retreat, and Good was able to snipe it off, so that was overall kind of a mistake. A net loss for Evil there, losing a medic and not getting too much done on the push, only taking out the outer cannons and most of the HP on Western Rudar's inner cannons. Moving into the south, we can see that Horus is actually stripping out the eastern Tharbad cannons right here. It looks like he is stopping by on his way to rotate down, and yeah, he's not actually going to push further, he's just grabbing those two outer cannons because he was on the way, he was in the area with his ARB. Right now, it looks like a little bit of a lull in the action. Gunna is now going to start stripping the outer cannons of Dunland. By the way, Tecmo is the one on Evil Men. Looks like Tecmo is actually going to go in for Lothlorien from the bottom. Gondor is not really here to actually contest because this ARB was a little bit too far south, but it is here now, and let's see if Western Gondor can actually chase away Tecmo. And it looks like Tecmo is not going to recall yet. I'm pretty sure he seized Gondor now, and yeah, now he recalls. Over in the northwest, we can see that Exodus has finally stripped down the two cannons on Western Rudar, so even though the initial push was a little bit delayed, Exodus is going to get that 1,000 minerals, and relatively early, all things considered. G-Unit is now in the south. Not really sure what he's doing here. It looks like he's actually pushing Central Camp from the bottom. Or no, he's actually going to go for the Yower outer cannons. Further action at Western Rudar. Lazy Turtle just trying to delay the inevitable by just a little bit. Horus is actually coming in for a flank. Smog very, very low. I'm not really sure how that happened. It looks like he did get poked a few times by cannons. And it looks like an ARB also going down at Londire and also at Last Bridge. Two ARBs going down almost at the exact same time for Tecmo. That's kind of a very rough turn of events for Evil there. Tecmo's only ARB remaining is actually stuck in the east. Tecmo says that his roommate actually came in, so a little bit rough for him. Gondor just continuing to strip down the Wayne Rider turrets. Beast continuing to strip down Trollshaws. So Miner's doing fairly solid, consistent progress on Evilman spawns right now, as well as Unifier actually grieving down Central Camp. And just as a quick note, this is played on the standard Rise of the Witch King version, so that means we don't actually have access to stuff like the ARB King, which will make tracking rotates a little bit more difficult, but nonetheless, we also have Misty Mountains attacking Elves in the north here. He did get stalled at EK. I think he only took down one cannon, if at all. And now Elves and Misty Mountains are just in a staring match. In the west, Exodus is attacking Lazy Turtle, but again, not much action going on here. Just a bit of AFK poking. Well, not AFK, but not a lot of risky engagements being made. Now, Horus is going to be rotating down into left Nui, and Gondor is here to defend it, but he's not actually trying to save these outer cannons here. Is Horus going to be able to cast the Gondor Arb? No, but he does also make it so that Gondor cannot move his Arb over to Pinnipalen. Gondor is going to be trying to engage Horus, but it looks like he has backed off now. Gunna is here to actually chase off Horus, so Horus should be recalling in a second here, and yep, here he goes. Up in the north, Exodus continuing to attack Lazy Turtle. Looks like Lazy Turtle was attacking a little bit aggressively out in front of the cannons, but that should be fine for him all in all. A few of the outer turrets do go down, but Exodus is going to have to retreat now. Overall, not huge losses for Lazy Turtle there. He is dying quite slowly. Wing Rider Encampment's Nazgul does come out, so Tecmo did actually get the money to buy that Nazgul despite losing both of his Arbs, so that was pretty decent farming for him. That was a 7-minute Nazgul. But now he says that he's cut off. Maybe he should have actually spent that money on a secondary Arb instead of Nazgul. So it looks like Tecmo is just going to be camping the east this game, and he will be just kind of giving the good factions free reign over his western spawns. If G-Unit, Beast, and Gondor can move efficiently here, they can probably full clear western Evil Min by maybe even minute 20. Let's see if they do that. Gondor is still healing, although he is mostly full HP. He can actually move out now if he hasn't already. Lazy Turtle is actually upgrading the Hills of Evendom, by the way. And it looks like Exodus is in the east a little bit, catching a bit of G-Unit Fighter's mass exposed. And not really sure what he's doing. Tecmo actually diving Lothlorien from the bottom and gets the spawn. It looks like the focus from G-Unit Fighter was a little bit too late to take out Howaldar there. And Horus signals for a east transition. Has the gas started on Gul Guldur? Not yet. Let's see if it swaps over once Karn's next gas finishes. Exodus says might as well. He might be canceling this gas to actually start gassing Gul Guldur, in which case. And Central Camp does go down now. It has had a lot of focus this game and not a ton of defense, so this is a somewhat late time. I guess Evilman was here defending a little bit earlier, but Good wants to be making the faster progress here. After all, Tecmo can't actually defend his spawns himself. It would have to be Horus defending his spawns for him. And that's never a good sign, having Misty Mountains defend for Evilman, especially since Evilman's not supposed to be defending their spawns in the first place. Not actively, at least. Gondor is moving his Arb over. He might be catching this Horus Arb in the open. Actually, no, he actually floats his Arb into Horus's Arb. He recalls it out in time, does notice that, so he's not going to be losing the Arb, but now he's not in the area to defend Left Nui. Actually, no, he is in the area to defend Left Nui. He just has a small delay having to walk over. Horus has no actual mass cover, so he probably wants to be running after this. It will be very difficult to contest Western Gondor without any mass cover. Smog does get pretty low, and it looks like right there, Argala dying to cannons, which is not something you want to be doing, especially when you kind of have an advantage here. Your red is kind of losing their ability to push the Evilman advantage. Now, Exodus is going to come down and take out Last Bridge. That was a fairly easy kill, all things considered. Free $1,000 just in the pocket of Exodus. And look at this. The Dol Guldur gas has actually started. Now, Wing Rider Encampment is very close to dying, so it looks like Wing Gas will not be able to come out. And I don't know if they're going to go EE. I would kind of advise against it in this case. Good is still relatively strong. And as we can see here, there's a big Tharbad minefield. It looks like people might be trying to just recreate what happened during the tournament to Horus. And we do have Horus in this lobby, so, you know, maybe they can get something with that. Beast is going for the clear on Enedwipe from the top right. Typically, the most efficient clear is actually from the west. The top right clear is a little bit awkward and easy to defend. But since Tecmo isn't really here, that might be a fine option for them. Now, Tecmo is going to be stripping out the eastern cannons. It looks like Lazy Turtle's Arb was caught a little bit exposed, but a teammate was able to notify Lazy Turtle of his Arb, and it escapes safely to Khazad-dûm. As another quick reminder, this is the normal version of Rise of the Witch King, so that means we can't actually see spawn death messages as spectators. So apologies if I missed anything. As we can see here, once a Wayne Rider dies, we shouldn't actually get a spawn death message for that. Tecmo is actually working out Mirkwood now. E-Halls is still alive, so this is a pretty strong position that G Unifier might not want to give up for free. And as we can see, Wayne Rider encampment does actually go down. And Monsoul is being focused by Exodus. Lazy Turtle is not actually bothering to defend it. Instead, he opts to strip out the outer cannons of Khazad-dûm. Considering that Khazad-dûm is upgraded, it's not a terrible play, but do note that Dol Guldur is being upgassed. So even if Khazad-dûm does go down, Exodus will have more mass available to himself, even though he might lose 2 of his gas on Khazad-dûm. Unifier is going to come in and chase away Tecmo, but he should be recalling out. Yep, there he goes. Meanwhile, Beast actually clearing Enderwife from the west, so the work done in the east is a little bit wasted. It's a rather slow clear right now. Yower, it hasn't been attacked yet. Dunland is still mostly healthy. Eastern Rudar is still mostly healthy. So despite Tecmo being basically just crippled in the west, Good has not made a ton of progress. It looks like Gondor is kind of spending a lot of time in the east, which, given their information, might not be the best play. I don't think they have noticed Dol Guldur gas yet, but maybe they might be suspecting it. Now, Gondor is actually going to go for Dunland now, so Tecmo should be dying in the west sooner rather than later. Exodus seems to be going in for a push on Lazy Turtle. Let's see if he can get a lot of damage done. Maybe take out North Downs in this push. Barrow Downs gas is completed, by the way. Yep, Exodus zoning with his melees in the left while his ranged heroes attack the turrets, forcing Lazy Turtle to not really engage, especially since Lazy Turtle is down Argaleb. It will be very difficult for him to really chase him off. Exodus did get Cora Hill, by the way, for his Nazgul. Tecmo got Oompa, I'm pretty sure. Cora Hill being focused down by Malvagil, and volley goes out for Lazy Turtle on Cora Hill. Looks like Cora Hill did get killed. Exodus's reaction time was a little bit too slow, did not pull him out in time, letting Malvagil get a lot more damage in on him. And we could also see that Cora Hill was healing himself there to try and deny the volley kill, but it was not quite enough. And the wife does go down, by the way, to Cardolin. Dunland is almost fully exposed as well. Tharbad Lord actually comes out for Cardolin, so this is a very strong Cardolin. If Cardolin was to know earlier that Tecmo would lose both of his arbs, maybe going for Consolidate would have been even better, but Lord is by no means weak in this situation. However, I think there's only one actual gas in Tharbad, which is a little bad in terms of tempo for Cardolin. He does want to get those Buccaneers out. Now it looks like a double is going to go down on Dunland. This should be Dunland dead this push. There's a lot of concentrated hero power DPS right here. In the east, we have Mirkwood being attacked from 2 sides by Tecmo and the Misty Mountains. So Gunfire is going to try and defend this, but with Exodus also swinging in, it looks like Gunfire is going to have to abandon this position or risk losing a lot of heroes. There's just too much evil power just concentrated in this area. Yeah, Gunfire does actually recall out, does not take the risk, and lets Evil secure Mirkwood. Now, this is a very important position to have, especially in East build. They have Lothlorien dead and Mirkwood dead, so this means the East build is very safe, relatively speaking. But while Exodus is here, he is also letting Lazy Turtle just get extra work done on the cannons by Khazad-dûm. And Khazad-dûm is actually being maxed for G Unifier here. He is not swapping off the gas. So this leaves his most of his gas just very exposed and vulnerable here. Looks like Evil is actually converging to attack Khazad-dûm. We see that the Florian does get corrupted by Horus, and the Gondor recalls in to maybe defend the spawn. He's just kind of sitting there for now. Yeah, now he is going out to attack. Khazad-dûm is going to die in this time, so even though Exodus is gassing Dol Guldur, that's still 2 of his gas on one of his core spawns going down. So still not a ideal set of circumstances for Exodus, but let's see if the Dol Guldur gas makes up for it. Gondor and Elves are just skirmishing with Aimar and Misty Mountains. Gulfable getting relatively low, but not enough to die. Gorkhill is also kind of low right now. Meanwhile, Gondor's heroes are mostly healthy, as well as G-Unifiers heroes. Actually, they're all full HP. So, G-Unifier is kind of missing out on a little bit of healing time here. But there isn't a ton that you can really do to contest heroes in this area from inside Khazad-dûm. It is a bit difficult to contest them from inside. Looks like Hyfels actually goes out for Tecmo, so... And yeah, Tecmo has actually moved his ARB over to Eastern Rudar, so it looks like he has transitioned Eastern Rudar. Krunir does die in this engagement to Exodus and Misty Mountains. And Exodus signals for Tecmo to start attacking Western Gondor. Smog gets a little bit low, and it looks like the rest of Horus's heroes are still mostly healthy, but so are Good's heroes. But Evil's single target DPS is slightly higher in general, although it might not be if we count G-Unifier's cannons. Lazy Turtle has actually recalled over to Khazad-dûm to help in the defense, so this should slow down Evil's attacks on Khazad-dûm significantly, but this also means that he's making a lot less progress on the inner spawns for Aimar. It's probably better for this for him to be here though, considering that none of Exo's other spawns actually have gas. It's just Dol Guldur and Karn-Dûm already died. So now it looks like we're going to be watching a full all-in push on Lothlorien. All four good hero balls are here to attack the spawn. Smog being targeted by G-Unifier, he has to pull, Chorus has to pull Smog back. None of Good's heroes have actually gone low yet. I say that as Iwindale gets actually full focus, G-Unit has to pull down Iwindale. Malvigil slows down and stops, gets destroyed by Smog. A little bit of missed micro there. Lazy Turtle did not pull Malvigil back far enough, and Harfang is going to go down as well. Morganmere gets a little bit of damage taken off of him as well, but it's not enough, and so far that's 2 heroes down for Good with none for Evil. A very poor engagement for Good, especially since a lot of their mass cover has also been taken down. Unifier with another push, attempted push at least, on Lothlorien, but with turrets here as well. It's going to be very difficult. Lazy Turtle is not actually microing his hero, so he loses Arvalek and the Chief of the Losov. At the very least, Smog does go down. Glufrenil escaping with almost no HP left, and Azrael also being recalled out in the midst of battle, but Exodus and Horus coordinating, it seems, swapping over to Lord Tharbad, synchronized, and killing Lord Tharbad there. Gorkhill does actually go down, it looks like. Yeah, Gorkhill does go down to a well-timed war cry by Cardalin. So at the very least, Horus is going to be losing 2 heroes in that engagement. It was not completely empty-handed for Good, but overall that was a very poor engagement for Good. Arfidane losing all of his heroes as well as 1 hero on Cardalin. Tecmo is going to be finishing off Tharbad as well, which is pretty rough for Cardalin considering that Buccaneers were unlocked on it. That's a huge power mass elite on Tharbad that's kind of just not available for Beast anymore. And it looks like these cannons were also just wasted. None of them have actually gone into any evil balls. It looks like G-Unit is going to be continuing to defend Khazad-dûm from just this persistent evil siege. It looks like Alatar did get bought for Exodus, and Horus is now going to start poking the spawn with his 6.5 range heroes, while Exodus just zones for him. 3 good factions, all 3 good factions that still have heroes, are here to defend it. So Tecmo just kind of has free reign while 2 evil factions just take out Good's time here. But Great Goblin does get dived on by G-Unifier and Gondor's Azrael, and it looks like Great Goblin does actually die. Huntmaster gets exposed out there and gets quickly taken out by Exodus and Horus. Mina Glar also somewhat low, so Good has to be very careful here. Despite the very high amount of cannons to cover them, it is very hard to coordinate in this small choke, and it is relatively easy to overdive in this area with Exodus on Aimar. Tecmo is now attacking Khazad-dûm from the west. not a good sign for Good. They are trapped in between two sides here. Gondor, or not Gondor, Beast is trying to contest Tecmo, but this is a 1 hero versus 5. Lazy Turtle has recalled in his mask. Dimral Dale actually gets bought. It looks like Kamul is not actually going to be punished for that dive. It looks like Good just was not able to punish that quickly enough for Kamul to die. He was Exodus was diving into the spawn to try and take out Lord Finn of Galen. And this Dimble Dale buy should slow down the evil push at least somewhat, but it's also very difficult to actually defend Dimble Dale, just the way that the cannons and spawn are laid out, so this will die sooner rather than later. At the very least, Dwarven catapults are out on both sides for Khazad-dûm. And Exodus seems to be signaling for Horus to wait until their next mass spawn before attacking the spawn again. Khazad-dûm is only at 2,000 HP out of 5,000 now, so this could be a spawn kill very soon on this spawn. Looks like a little bit of a lull in the fighting, just every faction waiting to mass up and heal. Where is Tecmo? Tecmo is just kind of resting at Eastern Rudar. He might be coming in from the west this next push to take out Khazad-dûm. Horus is here as well. He has consolidated his forces north, and Dol Guldur has spawned again, so this is the spawn wave that Exodus was talking about. Evil should be making their next push now, and Good is actually pushing out as well to attack Lothlorien. This might not actually be the best play here, because Good is going to throw away a lot of their mass cover. It looks like Frandwell is also going to be focused, and while Good was outside exposed, they lose all of their mass cover and let Horus basically completely strip out Dimral Dale. Now their Dimral Dale defenses are completely gone, and they're back to square one with just Khazad-dûm to defend with. Harsh does go down, so that was a nice pickup by Good. It looks like a bit of cannon targeting and hero targeting by Gondor. But with Khazad-dûm continuing to be focused down by Rogash, it looks like it's not going to be surviving this push. Yep, and there it goes. This Exodus zoning the good heroes too effectively. The good heroes were not actually able to contest this Rogash poke from the north east, and that results in the spawn dying. Exodus signaling that he's 6,300 minerals off from being able to infest Moria. Let's see if they are able to flush Good from this choke point. If they can secure Moria, then that means Dol Guldur and Lothlorien are basically just completely safe for the rest of the game. Or not the rest of the game, but it's going to be quite a while before Good would have the strength to actually seize down Moria. Now Good is just continuing to hold this position, not letting Evil grab Moria. It looks like they're trying to just delay that spawn by as long as possible. I'm pretty sure that Gulfenbull is the only hero right now who can actually buy the spawn. So if they can eliminate Gulfenbull here, that would mean they can't actually buy Moria. But they have to be careful here. There's a lot of heroes in this little choke here. Celeborn does get actually very focused. Arvidui also very low. Looks like Witch King is going to survive that dive though. Arvidui and Witch King getting extremely low. One of Horus's healers did also get targeted there. And now with Tecmo breathing down the western choke of Khazad-dûm, it's going to be very difficult for Good to continue holding this area. Arvidui continuing to attack here despite being on only 50 or so HP, 100 HP. And Arvidui actually recalls out and doesn't actually die in time. Celeborn does get actually poked down though. It looks like even though there are a huge amount of cannons in this area, Gun and Fire is just kind of overwhelmed and not really sure what to target. Or maybe Evil is just being very safe with their heroes, staying out of cannon range for as long as possible. And now that the middle cannons of Khazad-dûm are taken out, Exodus should be able to run Gulfenbull onto the spawn to buy it. Unless Good is very, very coordinated and manages to focus down Gulfenbull perfectly before he buys the spawn, I don't really see how they can delay Moria further. And now that Western Gondor has retreated, actually it looks like Good's just not even going to try for it. Yep, there we go. Good GG's out and leaves the game. What an explosive set of micro battles in the East. what we saw there was just a very strong East transition by Evil there. Exodus was able to leverage his extreme amount of mass to deal a lot of damage. Tecmo losing both of his arbs in the mid game made it very easy for Good to take out his Western spawns, but they were going about it relatively slowly. Yower and Eastern Root Arbor and Highfells are still alive after all. And at the same time, it looks like the Eastern build was just kind of went unnoticed for a little bit too long. And by the time it matured, it was already too late for Good to contest it. And then just Good lost in microfights outside Khazad-dûm, north of Lothlorien. Exodus and Horus were a little bit more coordinated than Good and were able to focus the right heroes. And Lazy Turtle also, unfortunately, did lose a lot of his heroes in that with very little return. A very exciting game with a very nice build and a good show of skill from both sides. And yeah, that concludes this replay.